Well, hello there, fine people of the interweb world. Welcome to this evening. Travis Loft here with the Human Upgrade Project, and I will get into what we do after the pre-show, Random². As always, if you don't want to listen to me talk about Random², which is the odd national holidays, bizarre, weird, odd national holidays here in the US and sometimes internationally. Just fast forward about 3 minutes. And that's about how long this takes usually. It's a good preface to let people come on to see the show. Anyways, Random² tonight. Tomorrow, August 13th, bizarre, weird, odd national holidays. It's International Left-Handers Day. So if you're left-handed, boom, there you go. I'm not. A little bit ambidextrous. That's trained though, because it works both sides of your brain. Might get into that in one of these episodes too, but that's for later. National Filet Mignon Day. Is that really? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I'm going to have some filet mignon. Well, maybe not, but I'm going to have beef because it's what's for dinner. National Prosecco Day. I'm not that cultured. I had to look that up. I didn't know. I'm not a big wine guy. It's wine, apparently. It's a special kind of Italian wine. So there you have it. Tomorrow, if you like wine, it's National Prosecco Day. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Prosecco. And my favorite one tomorrow, August 13th, it's Blame Someone Else Day. Yes. I mean, I could go off on a whole tangent about that, right? Blame Someone Else Day. Do it for one day. Most people do it all the time because people are don't take account, are not accountable for their own actions, and they don't realize that they have decisions that they can make, and they made the decision to do what they're doing and make the choices they did. But instead, they blame someone else. Not everybody, but a large majority. If you don't blame other people from time to time, then tomorrow's a perfect day to do it. I may do that. I'll have to find a few people and just blame them for some random thing. Because why not? Nailed the timing on that. I'm getting this down timing-wise, at least. And eventually, I'll get the format of this nailed too. But until then, I just continue to get better, and you can watch and enjoy the process. So let's jump right in here. Travis Lofka here with the Human Upgrade Project, where we dissect, deconstruct, and just try to figure out what makes some people so remarkable and so extraordinary. What do they do? How can we do and take and learn what they're doing and apply it in our lives to be as remarkable and extraordinary as possible? Because as I say in every episode, haven't you ever wondered how some people can do what they do and be who they are in such a crazy world of, busyness and everything else, and they're able to excel mentally, physically, and spiritually in so many different areas. It is possible. I've been on this track my entire life, and I thought I would share it with everybody, and then we can all learn together and apply different things. And I'll teach you what I learned, and I'll teach you, and we'll learn these things together. So with that said, tonight's episode, I didn't plan on doing this originally, ever really, but it is something important that we need to discuss. And that is, how old are you? I absolutely hate that question, and I'll tell you why here in just a minute. But there are different versions of old. Chronological, biological, psychological, and social. I didn't know there were all of those. I used to say chronological and psychological, but I was using psychological as biological, and there are slight differences, and I will get into that here in just a minute. Why does that bother me so much? Well, it's because of the fact that so many people complain about being old, and that's all they do is complain about being old. And they're not. Like, I mean, I'm guilty. I did it. I mean, all this stuff that I am talking about most of the time, I am totally guilty of it too. And that's why I talk about it. Long time ago, I was pretty much just out of high school when I stopped doing it. But there was a Garth Brooks song back in the day titled "Much Too Young to Feel This Damn Old," and that was me and one of my best friends in high school. That was our motto. Anytime something was weird, physically or whatever, much too young to feel this damn old. And I realized, luckily, early in my 20s, that that's just stupid. And talking about being old is stupid also. Because the more you talk about something, the more it becomes true, right? Here's a good example, and here's something that you can do to prove what I'm talking about. Pay attention when you're going about your day and your life in general, and listen to the people and pay attention to the people. Maybe this is you, I don't know. I've done, like I said, I'm guilty of it too in the past. Pay attention to those people that talk about being old. That say things like, oh, yeah, this hurts. This muscle hurts. This joint hurts because I'm getting old. I can't play that sport anymore because I'm getting old. I can't do this. I can't do that because I'm getting old. Unless there is an injury or some specific reason physically that you can't do something, it's usually going back to the sport thing. I can't play that sport anymore because I'm old. No, you can't play that sport anymore because the last time you played it was 20 years ago or 30 years ago when you were in high school. It doesn't take a genius rocket scientist to figure out that if you stop doing something for even a short period of time, you're no longer going to be able to either do that or be proficient at it like you were before. It's part of the reason I started jumping on my big trampoline again, because I know that because I haven't been doing it, I'm not as proficient and I don't have the body awareness and the proprioception that I need to be able to do the cool stuff that I used to be able to do. I can still do cool stuff, it's not as cool. So, pay attention to that. Pay attention to that when you are going about your day. And I mean, if it stems into other areas too, but if you just want to focus on the old thing. People ask me how old I am. It's a common question, right? So I don't get upset because that would be stupid too. However, I tell them how old I am. And when they say, how old are you? I say 34. Or sometimes I say about 34 because I can't really nail it down. The funny thing is, though, everybody actually believes that. So, which is great, I guess. I mean, so sometimes I follow that up with, but I've been alive for 44. Yeah, potato, it's semantics, whatever. But the point is, I feel and am capable of doing things that somebody who's 34 could do, right? Even like late 20s. So that's why I say that. If that makes sense. That is what I called my psychological age. Technically, yeah, it kind of is biological, psychological. I'll go through here real quick. The difference between chronological, biological, psychological, and social. It's actually kind of fascinating because I didn't know about the social one, and I didn't know the distinction between the psychological and the biological. Chronological, obviously, just how long have you been alive? And that's where I say I've been alive for 44 years, right? Biological age is the age of your body systems, of how things are working, right? Like, are you taking care of yourself and eating well and sleeping well and doing all the things you need to do to not get old? And there are tests for this. I might get into that in another episode too, but there are tests to test biological age versus chronological age and all that. I did one a long time, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago or something like that. And yeah, there was, I don't know, 10 or 15 year difference in that. And they're fascinating. I find it super fascinating. The psychological age, let's do that. Cognitive function, like how is your brain working? But not only cognitive function, but it's your ability to learn, remember, and handle and manage emotions. So on one hand, being psychologically young is good, but on the other hand, if you're emotionally immature, that's not so good, right? I guess depending on the circumstance. I don't know. I haven't actually nailed down on this the 4 ages that I think I am. I just go with 44 and 34. About a 10-year difference. Why not? And social age. Social age is, what does society say you should be doing at the age you are at? So in that case, like, I should be like late 20s because I don't have a girlfriend, I'm not married, I don't have kids. I have this super minimal hermit lifestyle. And at 44, I should have like kids. I have friends that like have kids in like college and stuff. But oh well. The biggest thing is paying attention to how you perceive your age to be. If you think you're old, you're old. That's what it comes down to. So don't be old. I have friends and people that I know, like in different places, that when I see them, I like talking to them, but I won't spend a lot of time with them because I don't want their oldness rubbing off on me. I don't want. And when it comes down to it, it's basically an attitude thing too. Most of the time when people talk about being old, they're complaining about a problem instead of trying to find a solution to that problem. And no, you can't. Aging, you can't. It's inevitable, right? I'm not saying like pretend like you're young, pretend like you're in your 20s. That's just stupid too. But you can do things mentally and physically, spiritually, to adjust that, and that being, right, mindset of, instead of saying you're old, why are you feeling old? Because you, I don't know, eat like crap, woke up and feel bad from eating like crap, or because you aren't doing the things that you know you should be doing, so you just blame it on being old. Don't blame things on being old. That's just mean. Be nice. So do that. Do that. That's your homework. Watch and listen to other people when they talk about their age. And specifically watch the people that are, quote, according to society, old, right? I know people like my grandma. My grandma is amazing. She's like 96 or something like that. And I don't think she's old at all. She still gets around by herself. She still thinks clearly, uh, and has a really good attitude about things. But she's smart enough to know that physically she's incapable of doing some things. The best one was, the best one was, yeah, I don't know what it was. It was right after my granddad died. They were selling the ranch and all of that, and that she's like, I need to sell the truck, and I was like, oh, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna drive? She's like, oh, I don't know. I can figure it out. We'll figure something out. Uh, she says, I'm gonna sell a truck because I can drive, but I probably shouldn't be driving. And I was like, that's awesome. So, like I said, aging is inevitable. Getting old is not. And doing the things that you need to do, that you know you need to do, mentally, physically, and spiritually, can slow that down. And that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest takeaway from this whole deal is, are you doing the things you need to do to slow down the aging process, to be able to do the things that you used to do, that you want to do, that instead of just complaining about it and just going about whatever you're doing? If you want to do the things you used to be able to do and think the way you used to be able to think and all of that, what were those things that you did in the past? Recreate those in some way, and there you go. Recipe. Simple, may not be easy to implement, but it's simple. So that's about all I've got tonight. This went a little longer than I anticipated. See, we have just thousands of people on here. One of these days, I don't know, I'll run some ads or something and see if I can get some people to ask some questions. Until then, I'm going to continue talking to myself, refining the structure of this so that it can be useful. And if you find these things useful, feel free to share and like and all that. And as I always say, have an amazing day, because it's better than the alternative.